11 of the top 5 Pokemon by type series. This week we are discussing flying types. This video was promised to be uploaded on Christmas Eve, and holy crap, it is not even close to Christmas Eve. Yeah, I do apologize for that. Anyway, the show uses primary types, so like Mudkip or Swampert, for instance. I know he's water and ground, but I'd only put him in the water video, not the ground, so he wouldn't be on there twice, basically. And the problem with flying types is I think there's only one Pokemon that is a primary flying type, so can't really do that. So what I did was I finished a list for every other type, and then I made flying so that way there would be no overlap, basically. So no Pokemon will appear twice. Anyway, let's start. Number 5 is a Gen 3 masterpiece, Stan Smith himself, Tropius. As with just about every Pokemon this week, I just adore the design. A giraffe thing with bananas. Like, who came up with that? It's genius. His stats are relatively poor, again, a pattern this week, none being exceptionally high, and that becomes more of an issue when you consider his 5 weaknesses. One being a 4x weakness against ice. Ouch. He has a decent pull of moves, nothing to write home about, though. His shiny is total badass, though. I love looking at that shiny. Not much else to say, quite frankly. Number 4 is a Pokemon who I loved back when I used to play Pokemon Crater in, 2006, I want to say. My goodness, that was almost 9 years ago. Seems legit, and that is Xatu. For real, look at his design. Tell me that isn't badass. He has a decent special attack stat, being Psychic. He has a lot of high Psychic power stab moves, and yeah, it's good enough, basically. Like Tropius, he has 5 weaknesses, but none are 4x weaknesses, so he should be fine most of the time. Moves he has, like Psy Shock, Solar Beam, Round, Dream Eater, Heat Wave, and Dazzling Gleam, and there are others, but I mean, it's a pretty nice move pool. Again, not super, but still. Add to that its relative importance in the original Mystery Dungeon games, and you have a Pokemon I had to include somewhere in this series. Number 3 is a real OG in every meaning of the word, one of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, underloved, but a total awesome Pokemon, Farfetch'd. I know he isn't that great, but Gen 1 only introduced a few flying types to use early on. You have Pidgey, Spearow, Charizard I guess counts, because you don't get fly till late anyway, but Zubat, and then it's like Farfetch'd. Due to being traded, because you have to trade to get him, he levels up really fast, and he only has 3 weaknesses, which is nice. He has moves like Brave Bird, Poison Jab, Night Slash, U-Turn, Leaf Blade, Revenge, Heat Wave, and others. So, downside to that being, his stats are pretty much garbage. Didn't realize how bad they were until I looked for the video. So it doesn't matter what moves he has, really. But I've always liked Farfetch'd, so it's so cool he had a signature item called a stick. I mean, really, who doesn't like him? Number 2 is another pretty much crap Pokemon, Jumpluff. You run into Hoppip relatively early in Gen 2, and he's adorable, so you might catch one and start training him. And I know he's a pain to train, especially in the original Gen 2 games. Then he evolves into this awesome Pokemon. Awesome design, he's fast, has decent defensive stats. He even got a boost in Gen 6. Granted, he has a 4x weakness to ice, and 4 other weaknesses, which makes it a bit of a glass cannon, even with a relatively decent defense stat. Fairy Wind, Mega Drain, Hidden Power, Round, Energy Ball, Infestation, Confusion, and he has a bunch of other moves. It's not that crazy good, but that design is so awesome. Number 1 is Chatot. The trend of not too good Pokemon continues with this bad boy. Tell me he doesn't have a cool design. Like, really? Even if you don't like his design, he's one of the coolest moves of all time, Chatter, which, if you don't know, records your voice and uses it in combat as an attack. That's just genius. Straight up genius. Yeah, it's a gimmick Pokemon, but he's obviously the coolest gimmick Pokemon. His stats aren't too great, but in the past, Pokemon with low stats are the one who get new evolutions. So, maybe he will. He could really use one. I'm surprised there isn't a Mega of him yet, to be honest, but he has Hyper Voice, Chatter, Echoed Voice, Sacred Noise, Boom Burst, and Heat Wave, among others, but those are, I guess, his best moves. In Gen 5, he was even banned from the Global Union thing. I mean, how awesome is that? Anyway, that's my list. Comment yours, because I do read every single comment, even if I don't respond sometimes. It's whatever. Also, vote for what type we do next time, which will be between Ground and Steel. Both are similar ideas, but they both get taken the opposite way, really, because Ground is more of an offensive type, and Steel is more defensive. So it's pretty cool. They're still interrelated. And yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, leave me a like or share. My Ask FM page will be in the description. Leave me a question for Monday's Q&A, so I'll have questions to answer. Anyway, peace out, home skillets.